And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Let's go, Oaks. Been a rainy morning. Rained all night. How are you, puppy? Pretty Oakley, you a good girl. Yes, you are. You watched the goats all night? Yeah. You're a good girl. All right, we gotta clean stalls. I've already put the two, a little bit earlier, I let the two oldest does out. How are you girls? Huh? Did you just have a good night? Huh? You've made a mess in your stall. What are you doing, little bit? You're a pretty girl. You ready to go out and pasture? The rain has about stopped. Let's go out. Come on. Let's go out. Let's go out. Let's go, Stormy. Come here, Stormy. Come on, Stormy. Let's go out. There you go, out into the mud. Come here, Shadow. Come on, Shadow. Come on, little girl. Yeah. You're a good little girl. Let's go out. Go out. There's fresh hay out there for you. Watch out, puppy. Stay back out of the way. Oakley's a good pup. She stays, well, she's not a puppy. So, tell you for what it's worth, but when she was little, I kept calling her, hey puppy, and she kind of learned sometimes she knows her name is Oakley. And I think she thinks her middle name's Puppy. So she responds to both really well. So the name Puppy just kind of stuck. We also call Raven Puppy, even though she's a ginormous puppy. She's going on 2, but it's time to clean these stalls. Chad Oaks, don't let me run you over. Oakley's a really good pup. She's been an excellent farm dog. One thing about Oakley that you got to be very, very careful with is her tail. If she's sitting around somewhere or just kind of lounging and you happen to step on her tail, look out. Don't ask me how I know that. She is very, very sensitive with her tail. I hear the sprinkler on the barn roof again. Tin roof, you can hear everything going on, weather-wise and wind-wise on that roof. I hope the radio ain't distracting from the volume of the video. We leave a radio on in our barn. It's tuned to a local radio station that picks up really good, and we just leave a radio on. It for 2 reasons. It gets any animal that we have here on the farm really used to human voices and humans being, the sound of humans around, even during the night. And it also, I'm convinced, keeps away predators. To an extent, our guard dogs do the main job there, but it also deters some predators. They hear human voices and things like that around in the barn at night, and it deters them. And I think maybe to an extent, when the radio is just playing and it's like the announcer or DJ talking at night, that if a would-be thief somehow came onto our property and somehow got past our livestock guardian dogs with the intent on stealing or something like that from our barn or hay room, hay equipment, something like that, if the DJ's voice is on, they could hear voices, somewhere around the barn, and they might go, oh, somebody might be there, and they move on. Maybe I shouldn't have told that, but it's mainly for the animals. It's not for any kind of security, so to speak of, even though that could be just a fringe benefit, maybe you might want to say, but it's funny, stalling goats, how each goat has its own personality and their own mannerisms. And those mannerisms become really evident in a stall. When you stall them overnight, we got a couple of goats that we stall them overnight, and you put them in the stall, and they use the bathroom kind of in a certain area. They poop and pee in a certain area. Some of them rarely waste any hay in the hay racks in there. They pull out just a little, some falls when they're eating. And you can go in the stall the next morning. It's pretty clean, actually. You could, we still clean them every day that they're in there. If they're in there at night, we clean them every day. But there's some goats that you can go in their stall in the morning and it's really not that bad dirty. It's not that soiled. Then you can go in the next stall and holy cow, it looks like they have had a pee and poop and tear hay down festival in there overnight. Just make a horrid mess. It's odd how different goats like that have different personalities of how they are, just their mannerisms. We've got one goat in particular. It doesn't matter. Well, actually about two goats in particular, two females. It doesn't matter much whether you put their hay in any type feeder you want to put it in, and we found this out. They will stand and pull hay out, drop it, pull hay out, drop it, and I've looked at the hay that they drop versus what they finally did take a good bite of and chew and swallow, and there was no difference. They just will stand there and just pull hay. It's like an amusement to them or something. I don't know. And then we've got a couple of goats that rarely pull hay out and drop it. They'll pull them a bite of hay out, they eat it. They pull another bite out, they eat it, and when they're done, they walk off. We got a couple that will just stand and pull hay and pull. It's like entertainment to them. They'll pull it and drop it and watch it fall, pull it, drop it, and watch it fall. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. Cleaning stalls is a peaceful time. There's usually nobody in the barn when I'm cleaning stalls except me and Oakley. And it's a good time to ponder things, ponder life's dilemmas. And while I'm here cleaning this stall, just let you kind of know what we do here. We actually have stall mats down in these stalls, and they're the thick, heavy rubber ones. They're an inch thick, probably. They're heavy. But under the stall mats, we have a layer of ag lime, then a layer of like 3/4 wash stone gravel. Then we have another layer of ag lime, and then we have pea gravel, real fine pea gravel that we spread really level to level everything up. Then we put the stall mats down, and it's worked phenomenal. But one thing we do, I found out a couple years ago, we would just go to any farm supply store and buy pine shavings to put down on the floor. I do not like cedar shavings, not for livestock. Put down pine shavings, and we would just buy the flakes. And I noticed in the mornings with goat manure, you know how it is, it's pellets lots to most of the time, and kind of depends on what they've been eating. But on a normal time going to the bathroom for goats, it's pellets. You know, you see the little brown manure pellets everywhere, kind of almost like rabbit pellets, but it's different. But we take a rake, just like a yard rake, and rake it up into a pile, and it rakes up most of those pellets into a pile, and you get some of the flakes. But I noticed with the bigger flake bedding that it raked almost all of it up. So we bought a couple of bags of really fine pine shavings, almost like sawdust, and started using those. So much better. The rake leaves a lot of the unsoiled pine shavings. It just leaves it, but it gets the manure. And anywhere that they've been urine where they've peed, then we take the broom and get it up. And I also found that the really fine pine shavings, the really extra fine ones, absorb liquid so much better than the flakes that it's not much of a comparison. It is like heads and shoulders better. And we just rake out. We got a little scooper thing here. I think it's actually like used for people around dog kennels and stuff, you know. We just rake up these soiled extra fine shavings and the manure, the wet shavings from, you know, liquids, and rake it up into this, and then just dump it into the wheelbarrow. But these floor mats, the stall mats, are fantastic. The goats like them. They're easy on their feet. They're comfortable enough to where they lay down on them. Especially I've got one goat that'll pull out a pile of hay out of the hay rack and make her a bed and lay down on it. And we have a trough here, a feed trough, and then a hook here to hang a water bucket on. And I've got one little goat that notoriously gets pine shavings into the feed trough. I think she puts her feet up on there. And I won't mention any names, but her initials is Stormy. She's notorious for that. Each goat's got their own little quirks and their own little personalities and the way they do things, and it's really unique to watch them and learn their personality and their little quirks and what they do different from the others. And okay, we got this stall clean. We left, you can see there's still some pine shavings around. They're clean. I mean, you might see a piece or two of little pellet in a corner or something of manure, but very little. 99% of it is out. Oberhasli goats have a very distinct individuality. They're not cookie cutter. They might look that way in some respects, you know, the color and the general appearances, although there can be vastly different in conformation from bloodline to bloodline and animal to animal. But as generalities, they're you know, pretty on the outside they look pretty uniform, but trust me, Oberhaslis, you take them individually and spend time with them individually over the course of months and watch their habits and watch this animal's habits, the way it does things, watch another one, the way they do things. They're vastly different. They're very much individuals. We've had we raised ABGA registered Boer meat goats and some Kikos. And while they were individuals too, they was not near as individualistic as these Oberhaslis. These Oberhaslis have a personality all of their own, and that's why we like them so much. They might appear to be cookie cutters, but they're not. That's only the appearance from a distance. You know, if you have a purebred Oberhasli or 100% American Oberhasli, you can spot one a pretty long way away out in pasture. But that's where the similarities lots of times ends. Now there is some similarities they share, and one of them is their demeanor is very friendly. We had some Boers. The Kikos kind of had a little better personality. We had some Boers that we like all the animals, don't get me wrong. But we had some Boers that had very little personality about them. They were just always all business, always very routine. You knew what to expect out of them. And with Obies, it's a little different. Hey, Oaks. Hey, pretty girl. You keeping me company? On to the next stall. Let's go. Let's go. Good girl. Good girl. The rain has stopped. I'm telling you. Here lately, we've had the weirdest weather. It has went from like about a month ago, just before Christmas, we had like -2, 3, some reports -4 at night weather. Then we went to 4 or 5 days later into the 50s. And last weekend we had 20s for highs to low 30s and snow. It went from snow last weekend to today it's rain. Yesterday got into the upper 40s to close to 50. Today it's in the 50s, and it rained last night. And tomorrow they're saying our highs will be in almost 60. So we go from negative temperatures to 60 degrees, and snow and rain and wind and sun, and then freezing at night back down into the 20s. Guess what that means on a farm? Mud. Yes, it does. Okay. The stalls are clean. We don't stall our animals on a normal day or normal night. We only stall them, put them inside the barn in secure stalls in 3 situations. Number 1 is inclement weather. Now, I'm not talking about just some rain or just some snow, but if it's really, really heavy rain and wind and the temperature is down to just above freezing where it's not snowing, then lots of times we will put them in stalls just to keep them out of that danger area. Next time would be pregnant does that are very close to kidding. We will start, when it's that week that they should start kidding, we start stalling them every night regardless. They go into a stall by themselves, their own stall, so they can kid somewhere in the dry, regardless of weather, what happens. If it starts snowing or raining or anything, they're in a dry, warm place with plenty of water, plenty of hay, which they have all the time, but we make sure that they have it in their stalls. And they can kid without pressure or stress. And the third reason would be an animal that is not well, whether one has had an accident, sprained an ankle, sprained a leg, whatever the case may be. If we have one that's not real well, that needs a little extra attention, we'll stall them at night, or maybe even during the day. But once kids are born, we'll keep mom and the kids in a stall for a couple days, to let them get really acclimated to one another. Let mom get used to being a mom. Let the kids get used to mom, being with mom, nursing off mom, and that type. And it allows us to interact really well with the kids too, and mom. There's no stress, and we introduce the livestock guardian dogs after the kids are, just a couple hours old. Once we see they're okay, they've nursed, got that colostrum, what they need, and they're up on their feet, we'll turn Oakley in with them. And Oakley's the kid guardian usually. And Oakley will go in and meet her new, part of her new herd, and she'll lick on them and love on them and all that type of stuff for a few minutes, and then we send her back out and let mom back in. So, and usually we let mom in when Oakley's in there for a few minutes too, to let mom see that, hey, Oakley's not going to hurt those kids. And it doesn't take long till mom realizes, well, Oakley's never hurt me, and she's not going to hurt my kids either after she sees it. So we stay there with them to keep anything from happening, for a few minutes and let them get used to one another. But anyway, the barn is clean, our stalls, We keep an open alleyway between our stalls. It's wide enough to get a vehicle in here, or a truck or a tractor, whatever we need in here. So we have stalls on each side. Very spacious, nice stalls with oak, rough sawn oak boards is our stall walls in here, with 4x6s in the ground for our posts, and some of them's concreted in the ground. So our barn's worked out really good for us. We have a cut gate here in the middle. Okay, our morning barn chores is complete, and the rain stopped, which is nice. Like I said, it's supposed to be close to 60 degrees tomorrow, so we probably got close to an inch of rain last night, and it's sure made a mud hole out here with the ground freezing and then thawing, then freezing. It doesn't take long till you got a muddy mess. So thanks for being with us today here at the farm. We appreciate you stopping by our channel, spending a little bit of time of your day here at Cross Timbers Farm with us. God bless, and hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. There's the herd queen right there. Miss Lana is our herd queen. She's the herd boss.